why is Janet Yellen so optimistic, or more optimistic?
Right. Well, yeah, let's take a look at those comments from Yellen. So she was speaking to us and saying that essentially she sees the risk, if anything, of a recession going down. And I'm sure she's looking at, actually some pretty promising data that's come out fairly recently out of the U.S. We saw some home construction data earlier this week that was pretty strong, suggesting that that's going to contribute positively to GDP growth in the second quarter. We also got some pretty good retail sales data pretty regularly. But it's also, these comments are pretty interestingly timed, because she also just said that the labor market has been resilient, and at the same time we have this new these jobless claims data that suggests that jobless claims are remaining quite elevated. I do want to say, Bloomberg Economics took a look at some of this and said, yes, some of that data is, some of those jobless claims are really concentrated in just a few states, and ultimately, even though they see the labor market is cooling off, they've described it as kind of a gradual cooling this year. So, and I will also point out that Bloomberg Economics has pushed back their expectations for a recession a little bit, seeing something maybe hitting in the back end of this year. But I think what all of this is really telling us is that this is a very sort of tricky situation. We've seen with Jay Powell, just talking to lawmakers this week, and even what he said in the FOMC presser last week, that what the Fed's doing to target inflation, how it's balancing that against the economy, and whatever the economy's resilience may be, that's all a very sort of flexible situation. And I think that that's really important to keep in mind here as we get these kind of new comments from Yellen about the state of the economy, as we look at all of this data, is that ultimately it's just going to be a very interesting year ahead as we sort of plot out how exactly the economic outlook works here.